Dang, another video, here we go. So, you're a musician. You've been practicing your instrument for years. You've been honing your songwriting craft, putting in countless hours, and now it's time to play a show. You get booked at your local venue, you walk up on stage, you look into the microphone, and you suddenly realize, oh shit, I'm no longer just a musician. I've got to talk in front of all these people. I've got to dance around in front of everyone, as well as play these songs. Here's what nobody tells you about performance and performing music. You don't have to be a natural at it. It's something you can learn, and there are techniques that make you better at it. As someone that's been playing shows for nearly 18 years or something, I've played empty rooms where the only person there was the sound guy, right through to main stage festival in front of thousands of people. So I've decided to share some of the things that I've learned over all these years of performing. I'm going to go through some of the techniques that have really improved my performance game, and I've decided to make a series of videos out of it. This one being the first one. So today I want to talk about set lists. What is a set list? The set list is a list of songs that you are going to perform, you are going to play at your show. It is ultimately your anchor. It's what you should be referring to the entire time. A well-written, well-rehearsed set list is the difference between a complete dive bomb of a show to a show where you feel like Billy Joe Armstrong when he played the Milton Keynes Bowl in 2005. Damn, life-changing moment, man. Whew. Honestly, a good set list is going to change everything. So how do we use the set list to change the game? I'm going to talk you through today my setlist 101 that has taken me years of mistakes of different shows to craft. So here it is, my setlist 101. Okay, let's talk about set lists. I'm going to go through 5 things. They are all going to change your performance. If you don't already adhere to these, then I can't even recommend enough that you do. Number 1, always write a set list. Put yourself in the shoes of an audience member. You sat there in your local venue, you're watching a band or a singer, and between every single song, they're trying to figure out what to play next. It's long and it sucks. As the performer, you're trying to captivate the audience. You're trying to capture their attention. If you play a song and they're into it, the minute you finish that song, that's the window where you're probably gonna lose their attention. If you're spending that window of time figuring out what to play next, you've lost it. They're gonna go to the bar, they're gonna go outside, they're gonna spot their friend. It's over. It's not cute to be sat there going, I don't know what I'm gonna play next. It's not punk to be like, we don't write set lists. It's lame and it sucks. It's not professional. Imagine getting on a bus and the driver doesn't have a route. They just decide where they're going every time they stop. It would be the most useless bus service going. When you're playing a show, you're taking the audience on a ride. They want to just be taken. They don't want to stop and wait for you to figure it out. Captivate them and keep them engaged. You're not going to do that if you don't know what you're going to play next. The other thing to note is if you're a band or more than one member, make sure everyone has a copy of that set list too, so everybody knows what's coming next. Number 2, and my favourite point of this entire thing, plan when you're going to talk between songs, and do not talk between every single one. Oh my goodness, the amount of shows that I've been to where it's song, talk, song, talk, song, talk. As I said at the start of the video, you're a musician. chances are you're not a stand-up comedian. Chances are your charisma is there when you're performing the song, not in between when you're trying to talk. Not only should you not talk between each song, but when you do talk, you should have a plan of what you're going to say. It saves you as a performer from not knowing what to do, not knowing what to say. If you've got some guidelines, then you'll always know what you're saying. I'm going to tell you about one of my favorite things that you can do in your set list in order to not have to talk between each song. And it's called the segue. I have no idea if this is the technical term for it, but it's what I've always called it. It's what the band I played in always called it. The segue is where you go straight into the next song. No pause, just straight in. This can be really simple. The song ends and you just start the next one. Or you can be clever, you can have fun with it. You can make a segue. Maybe the drummer plays a little groove at 2 bars. Maybe you write a little interlude piece. Maybe you play a song that's in the same key as the song you just played, so it matches seamlessly in. If you go and watch your favourite bands who are doing it professionally or well known, chances are they're doing segues in their sets. Chances are they're just going straight into that song that you love to hear. There's no need for that pointless chatter in between each song. Planning your speech, we'll get to that in a minute. Number 3, tactically place the songs in your set list. Now this has some variables depending on genre, depending on the type of show you're playing, depends on your popularity, where you are in your career, but I'm going to give you my general guide to how I approach it. Let's talk through a set list. Your first song, don't, whatever you do, play your best song first. Unless you're playing arenas or huge festivals and you're a really well-known band, for what I've learned through years of touring, the vast majority of the time, your first song, that sound isn't that good when it's coming out those main speakers. The other thing to remember is when you first start playing music, chances are most people haven't come towards the stage yet. They haven't realised that music has started. So if you're blowing your best material for the first song, the crowd might not actually be able to hear you playing because the sound's no good, or they're halfway through their order at the bar and they're rushing to get their drink to get over to you playing. I'm not saying play a weak song first, just don't play your best one. Even when my old band were at the height of our popularity, we wouldn't play our best song first. We'd recognise that the party has just started. When you first arrive at that party, it's a little awkward, people are trying to get into it. The best songs should come later. The second song, before you go into it, don't talk. This is where we put our segue in. Don't start the party and immediately stop it to say a few things. Segue, man. Just segue into that second song. Now your second song can be a better song. The people at the bar have finally come over. The party really has started. Even if you're just like a soulful, quiet singer, it doesn't matter whether you're a punk band or whether you're a peaceful singer-songwriter. When I talk about energy and high energy in the party, I don't mean actually fast-paced, crazy party. I mean your best material, the stuff that's going to uplift the people the most. Your second song can be that. So can your first. The first just shouldn't be the best one. Around song number 3 and 4, that's when you talk. Introduce the band, say, hey, what's up, we are, or I am. That's all you need to say. You don't need to say a lot else. Thanks for coming out. Please come forward. Feel free to have a dance, sing along. It doesn't need to be a story yet. You haven't really been there long enough to start telling stories. Unless it's your act, and that is your act, you're a storyteller. Then don't do anything other than introduce the band. So you play your first song, segue into your second song, maybe even segue into your third. Stop, hello, this is us, this is me. That's your speech. You don't need to do anything else. You don't need to say anything else. Just that. Okay, once we've played 2 or 3 songs, we're in what I call the mid section of the set. I personally think that the middle section of the set needs to stay in that high energy. As I already said, I'm not talking about fast-paced songs. I'm just talking about songs that uplift people, or that they all know, or songs that are going to continue to captivate people. You've probably won people in those first few songs, but the people that are on the sidelines, you're going to win them in the middle. That should be your plan anyway. Maybe this is where you throw in a bit of audience participation, get them singing something, get them clapping along. I don't know, that will depend on your act. I also highly recommend that you segue 2 to 3 more songs. No talking. That middle section of the set, just keep playing. Segues, make them clever, make them fun. Okay, you get to the 5th, 6th, you're past the second half of the set. This is where your talking part 2 comes in. Now, for me personally, this is where I kind of tame the set down, and I usually have a narrative plan. So, say I'm going to play my 6th, 7th song. This is a song that I have a story about. This is a song that I'm going to tell the audience the story prior to playing it. I haven't done that yet. Every other song has been open to interpretation, or if I'm popular enough, people already have sussed their own story about that song. But this one's meaningful. This is a meaningful song that I'm going to tell the actual story to. Again though, I've sort of planned out what I'm going to say. Therefore, I'm not tripping over words, I'm not having to think about it, I'm just going in. If I'm on tour, chances are I said the exact speech the night before, and I'll say it the night after. I'm gonna always say the same thing. It just makes that set slick. It makes people watching think, wow, they really know what they're doing. Number 6, the latter half of your set. So not that final few songs, but that bit when you're over the hump. This is your bit to get sentimental. If you have a ballad, or you have some slower songs, or maybe even a little less well-known song, a song that you're a little less confident about, this is when to play that song. Chances are you've won over the vast majority. Anybody that you haven't won over, probably gonna stay in that camp. They don't like you. I'm sorry. It's okay though. You can't have love without hate. 7, 8, 9, 10 songs in, depending on where you are on the bill, depending on how long you've got to play, it's your ender. This is the final bit. This is when you play your biggest, best song. If you have a song that's particularly popular, play it now. Play it at the end. Because if anyone's come to see you, they've probably come to see that big popular song. So play it at the end. Make them hang around for it. Just before you play your last 1 or 2 songs, depending on whether you're going to use that segue, this is your 3rd and final time you're going to speak. Say thank you. Thank the promoters, the other bands. This is when you let people know where they can find you on social media. This is where you let them know you've got merch for sale. Remember that the last thing you say and the last songs you play are the ones that are going to stick in people's minds. That's how they'll remember you. So you want that to be as good as possible. You want it to be the best bit. Again though, don't say too much. No more stories. You told your one story. You don't need to tell any more. No one cares. If they want the story, they'll come and ask for it later. Or you can make a YouTube video about it. Or you can make a blog post. Don't do it live. You don't need to. It's not warranted. So last song, you play that final chord. Woo! It's gone so amazingly well because you actually wrote the set list. You knew what you were doing. The song ends, walk off stage. You don't need to say anything else. Do not, whatever you do, end your set on a speech. Just say cheers. If you're going to say anything, just say thanks and then walk off. That's all you need to do. That's your set. Amazing. You made it. Now you can feel amazing for the rest of the night. Okay, so that's my walkthrough of the set list. So point number 4 on setlist 101, rehearse your set list. So write it out weeks before your show, weeks before your tour, and rehearse it as a set. If you're a band and you're meeting in a rehearsal room, lay out the rehearsal room as if it's the stage. and go through everything. Go through the segues, go through what you're going to say. If you're an embarrassed lead singer, the rest of the band members need to get used to the fact that you're just going to be talking to a blank wall sometimes in rehearsal. You need to know what you're going to say. Honestly, it will change the game. It makes you feel better, it makes the audience receive you better. It is the best thing you can do. But also rehearse the songs in the order you're going to play them. Like I said, rehearse the segues. It feels incredible when you're on stage and everyone is slick, everyone knows what's coming. There's no doubts. And the audience receive that energy, they feel it. They're like, whoa, they really know what they're doing, man. He really knows what he's doing. She really knows what she's doing. This is amazing. If you're a solo artist or even if you're a band, you could take this one step further and you could ask your family members if you can run it past them. You could get your cat and sit them there and play it to them. Or even better, and I made a video on this, go busking. And when you go busking, rehearse your set list. If you're feeling really daring, rehearse your speech whilst busking. Damn, who knows who's watching? They might come to the show. One real disclaimer on this point. Although you're gonna now rehearse your set list for weeks until the tour comes about or the show, whatever you do, still write it down on a piece of paper or whatever you use, put it in front of you when you go on stage. No matter how well rehearsed you feel. And if you're in a band, particularly, make sure every single member can see a copy of that set list. Because I guarantee you, you might feel a bit overconfident and you'll forget a song. And then you'll come off stage and go, didn't play that song. Okay, last point on set lists. Number 5, believe in your set list. Even if the show is going south, the audience look bored, there's people leaving, there's people talking over you, don't change for them. Stick to your set list. Stick to the set list that you wrote out, that you're crafting, that you've crafted, that you've put time and effort into rehearsing. Stick with it. It's much better to stick to it than floundering around trying to figure out what you're going to play because you've decided to edit it about because you didn't like the way that that guy was looking and she's laughing and someone else just walked out. Stick with your set list. And this also works for when gigs are going really well. You're playing the set, the audience are loving it, the crowd are cheering, more, play again, play more songs, one more song. That is the best scenario you can be in because they want more of you. And if you give them a half-rehearsed, not very well put together song that's just random because you wanted the set list to last longer or you decided to do an impromptu encore, it's gonna leave them with a pretty disappointing memory. But it's also gonna leave you with a disappointing feeling. Stick to the set list, walk off stage. If they're wanting more of you, they've got to come to the next show. They've got to check out your stuff online. That's the best place to walk off. Cool as a cat. You can do a hair flick and walk off. Ultimately, having the set list is what starts to make you a professional. Nobody gets on stage that is at the highest of levels and doesn't know what they're playing next. Even if they make it appear like that, they know. They've been doing it for a long time. So that's my setlist 101. That's the first video to this kind of series. I don't know when the next video to this series will be. Probably a few weeks, maybe a month's time, I don't know. I really hope you got something from this video and you learned something. And if you do use some of these techniques and they go well, then let me know. That'd be really cool. If you want to thank me in any way, then you can do it by liking the video and pressing subscribe on this channel. Let me know of any other questions, or if you have anything that you want answered, maybe I'll make a video about it, especially about live performance, because that's what this series of videos is going to be about. And I'll see you in another video that could be about songwriting, could be about guitar, not sure. Thanks for watching. See you later.